Welcome to episode 83 of the Brew Crew Scoop. Cole's not here, about to get hitched. But the Brewers went 3-3 this week. Um, not to mention our Badger hockey team is going to the national championship, the men's team. And my Pittsburgh Penguins that we just talked about, huge fan, gonna clinch a playoff spot tonight, hopefully. We were just talking about our hockey and how Milwaukee needs to get a team. So we'll be talking about uh, I'm tying this back to something. So Kean said, it's harder when you don't have a team in the city, but we do have a team in the state, and that's the Badgers. But that brings us to the jersey talk. Is it Wisconsin's team? Have you heard the term Wisco before? And how are we feeling about it? It's just interesting. I got no problem with them shouting out the whole city. I just like imagine any other team with the state on the jersey. I guess is a little weird. Like imagine the Cubs had like an Illinois jersey. I don't know. I just don't get it. But frankly, Wisconsin, the up north thing, even though up north's not my vibe, it is awesome. I get the idea behind it, but it was poorly executed in my opinion. That's my takeaway. What do you think?
I was going to give you props for the segue because that was honestly impressive the way you brought this back from being a Penguins half fan to, you know what, we do have a team in the state. And then you said the fact that you're not really an up north guy and that
I'm okay. Yeah.
if Cole was here, I feel like he would have something to say about that. I personally, I don't do the hunting and fishing,
Yeah.
but there's nothing like a quiet lake, up there and the people, you go to a little hole in the wall bar up there and people are, I remember watching, the White Sox Brewers game one time and the TV wasn't working and this guy who obviously was a regular was just irate and he must have been there for 24 hours straight and it was great. I mean, people love the team up there. I don't know how I don't know other states. I mean, you mentioned Illinois, but they have two teams, so that would be a little different. But if Minnesota did it, I think it would be okay in my opinion.
They
Um,
got it in the name already though. I guess that's my thing.
True, I guess
Like
like a team, a city team.
what if
I don't know who.
The Tigers all of a sudden wore Michigan jerseys? I don't
I
know.
guess it would be a little weird, but I don't know. I like it. I said this in the chat. I said I really like the idea they were going for. I just think it was poorly executed. I don't like the colors. I read the whole like synopsis of why they did it that they posted and it made a little bit more sense. You know, it's the lake blue and then you got the fucking orange and the sunset and all that. I got it. I just think that they could have paid somebody to tell them, like they could have went up there and just found somebody. It's like what makes, you're very far from the team, what draws you to the Brewers, and found something from actually talking to people that would have connected us a little bit more than like, oh, fish and all this stuff. I do like the bobber logo. That's
Yeah.
what I'll say. The
Going
bobber
with the
logo is
grill.
pretty cool. I hope that I'm sure this City Connects will continue and we'll get another one in like 3 years. I hope they continue to somehow incorporate like the small baseball into the grill and the bobber, and I'm sure you'll run out of ideas at some point, but I think that was really cool. But to answer your question, I think I have no problem with it being Wisco. I've heard it. I've heard people say Wisco a million times. I've said Wisco myself. I don't think it's as prevalent enough to be on a jersey, but I have no problem with that. I say Wisco all the time. People who are not from here say Wisco. You're from Wisconsin, right? Wisco.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard
You're
people say it, so I have no problem.
you're right. That's the thing is I got no problem with them putting it on the jersey. It was it truly you're correct. I go anywhere in this state and you can talk Brewers with people. That is true. It's Wisconsin team. I got no problem with that. My main issue is like I don't know. I feel like with these city connects, they're just trying to go too cute sometimes. Like just put Wisconsin on it. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. Or just put Barrel Man on the hat. Like that's what the people want. I just feel like there's a disconnect between like if you just polled the average fan, you could just tweak these things and it'd be so much better. Just like the powder blue pants. I know it's kind of become a joke with me on Twitter, but truly, if you would have polled the fans, 98% probably would have said blue. Maybe some people don't really care, but if you ask them to prefer it. So that's all it is. But at the end of the day, do I really care? We've been blessed with lots of good uniforms in Brewers history. And I was surprised when I was on Twitter today, people were saying like the worst uniforms in Brewers history are the 90s uniforms. I get it because my dad hated those when I was a kid. But he always explained that it's because that's when they got rid of the ball and glove. So of course everyone's gonna hate him. So
And the team sucked. I mean,
yeah,
team success does factor into whether
I
you like a
totally
uniform or not.
I totally get it. I would have hated them getting rid of the ball and glove too. But now looking back on them, I don't think they were bad uniforms at all. So we've been blessed with a lot of really good uniforms. Uh, the fact that we're debating if these City Connects are the worst in franchise history, just as like a funny topic. I don't really actually care that much. But the fact we're debating that just shows that we've been blessed with all kinds of good uniforms. I wasn't crazy about the last City Connects. They were cool. I liked that they were the team colors, and I liked the little girl thing. It was cool, but
I
yeah.
think they fit. I agree. I think they fit a lot better. But and to be so frank, I'm not going to buy them. I mean, I might buy one of the Barrelman hats.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But I'm not going to buy a jersey. But it is just kind of for the Brewers. It's something new. I think if they would have had this idea first, but before the Brew Crew, I think they would have made them baby blue. I mean, it's just it
Yeah.
fits so well with the Brewers, but you can't do the same thing twice. You can't do the same color uniform, slap Wisco on it. I also do. I kind of disagree with just putting Wisconsin on it, but I think if you do that, it kind of takes the pizzazz away. Obviously, you're wearing a Wisconsin hat, so there's not anything that's called or has the name Wisco on it. So I get where they're trying to go with that. I actually kind of like it. I just don't like the design. It
Yeah,
is
frankly,
personally.
this is honestly probably the last time I'll really talk about the City Connects because I don't care that much. I just know it was a topic of discussion today. I truly just think the powder blue pants are the hill I'm gonna die on, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's enough Jersey talk though. They're
Yeah.
okay. I'll buy a Barrelman hat maybe, but that's about it. I mean, they're jerseys, and people probably do love them, so whatever.
All right, let's talk the week. So as I mentioned, it was a 3-3 week. The Brewers started the week 5-1. After last episode, they went down to Kansas City, had a rain out, and then they had a doubleheader. Garrett Mitchell, 5 RBI, put the Brewers up 5-0 early. Um, Ended up being a 5-2 win. Uh, Chad Patrick, just another really, really solid start. Just a guy who I just was not expecting when they picked him up to be this kind of player. Um, so love that. Ashby pitched for I think his 13th outing of the season here in Game 7. But 5-2 Brewers win in the first half of the doubleheader, the debut of the Powder Blues. And then in the second one, it was 8-2 Royals. They got out early to a 2-0 lead. We matched it back with another RBI in there by Garrett Mitchell. Good to see him healthy and showing his tools off. But then it was a 6-run sixth inning um, for the Royals. I'm sorry, Nick Mears got the win in that one on the Royals. Brandon Sproat got the loss. So saw a couple of ex-Brewers this week between Mears and Isaac Collins for the Royals. Um, and then we'll get into the Red Sox too with Durbin and Monasterio and um, but yeah, then Sunday it was an 8-5 Brewers win. They moved to 7-2. Kyle Harrison had another solid start. Yelich had an RBI triple to begin the game. Gary Sanchez had a home run. I saw a really funny tweet, one of my favorites that I had in recent memory that said Gary Sanchez came to the Brewers to mash lefties and challenge ball calls, and he's all out of challenges. So love that. But yeah, out of the pen. Anderson and Uribe were a little shaky, but then Zerpa looked good. McGill closed the door. So interesting. We can talk about this more, but I guess we can talk about it now. The closer deal. McGill has been a little bit shaky. He's always a little bit of a roller coaster. Abner, you can get a roller coaster too. Angel Zerpa's kind of looked like maybe our best reliever. I know he's a like we don't often have lefty closers. I mean, Hader's the obvious exception, but that's like we know why that happened. I feel like you don't see the Brewers with, I guess I shouldn't say the Brewers. Now I'm saying it out loud. This sounds really stupid. Dan Plesac and Josh Hader, just take that back. I don't know. I feel like the 1 year closers we've had have been a lot of like Hoffman, Jeffress, Knable, Axford, all these guys,
Turnbow.
K-Rod, like all those guys recently, McGill. So interesting to see if we just choose to use him more in lefty situations. But he's going a little bit long. He was a guy who we thought might be in the rotation possibly when we first traded for him. So, um, yeah, but fitting in nicely as a reliever. Then the Brewers went to Fenway. Game one, it was an 8-6 win. Brewers moved to 8-2. The big storyline there is Willson Contreras getting hit by a pitch. Sixth time he's been hit by Woodruff, 24th time he's been hit by the Brewers. He's the second highest in hit by pitches in active players in MLB. So we could talk about that too. Um, I wish Cole was here because he seemed to be the only Brewers fan who said he sees the side of Willson more than anyone. I see why he's mad. I will acknowledge the fact I get that part, but you spent years trying to get hit, crowding the plate. I think all Brewers fans don't even need to debate this really, other than I want to hear Cole's dissenting opinion. But so interesting with his brother on the team. So interesting hearing Yelich and Woodruff say, yeah, there's nothing new. I wonder how that dynamic is in the clubhouse, knowing William will like, for example, block people on Twitter for talking about his brother. So interesting. I don't know if you have anything to speak on there before I move to the other games.
I mean, I said it and you mentioned it. I tweeted like, dude, your brother's on the fucking team. I don't understand why. There was no ill intent. The Brewers pitch inside. I mean, it's not like he was on the play like he was in the past, but it grazed you. No one's trying to hit you. The situation, I believe, was first and second with like one out or nobody out. I mean,
First and second, nobody out, I believe. And
there's no way there's intent there. That's my whole point. And it's not like you got hit again. I mean, whatever. And then the whole
he maybe
series,
got hit. It maybe grazed his hand pad. So
when the next day when Miz was pitching and Miz struck him out, and Miz was like, fuck you off the mound. That was great. And then obviously, when Miz was falling apart, Wilson got walked and he flipped the bat and stared at him. I love that stuff. I think Wilson's kind of a pussy. Like, if you wanted to charge him out on Woody, you should have. Stop barking with
hmm
when Alex Cora's got to run out to the fucking first base because you're just jawing your fucking mouth. Do
so
something about it. If you want to charge him out and you're so upset, stop jawing when somebody's in like one of your own guys is holding you back. You easily could have charged Woody, who wasn't paying attention, who obviously didn't want to give you the time of day. It's all talk, and Woody said that, and Yelich said that. Like they've been dealing with this shit. It's an act. He's a pussy. I mean, full. Like to be honest with you, he's if he wanted to do something about it, he's had what 24 chances, and
yeah.
he's done nothing. So he will never do anything. It's all talk.
And if you look at the six times that he's been hit by Woodruff, somebody put together the video. It went elbow guard, ribs. That was the one. And then
Yeah,
elbow
one
guard, elbow
one
guard,
looks.
elbow guard. This
There
is
was
also
one in
over
there.
9 years or something like that too. So a lot of elbow guard and a lot of elbow guard where he had time to get out of the way as well. So I don't know. I don't want to hear it. The other piece of this is last year he had a questionable one where he got in Durbin's way at first base, like stayed
Yeah,
way. I don't
he
know for
kicked his
sure it was
foot up.
intentional. Looked kind of intentional. And then the other piece of that is then he slides in on his teammate from last year, David Hamilton, and goes cleats high after that hit by pitch. I get it, same thing. David Hamilton's should know to get out of the way, but you can't. I guess you can, but he went spikes up, ripped his pants. Luckily, David Hamilton wasn't hurt. Um, but
And you know
yeah,
what's
whatever.
crazy? The
I think
craziest part about that for me is that Wilson, after the game, came out and said, unless I'm being spoofed, because I saw this quote like through multiple people. I swear he came out and said like, next time they hit me, I'm taking somebody
no,
with me.
he definitely did. I
How
saw
is
the
that?
interview.
I'm not trying to be a pussy here, but like if a pitcher came out and said that, like, oh, next time, he tries to slide into my guy, I'm gonna fucking drill him in the head.
Well, and
Would that
that's
pitcher not be suspended? Not that I care. I really don't. I'm just wondering how was there not some sort of repercussion there? A
yeah.
fine? I know the MLB is not like the NFL where they'll just fine you willy-nilly, but a fine or like a warning, a suspend maybe it's behind closed doors, but I
Yeah,
don't know. I just thought that was weird to say to a reporter.
it's certainly interesting. What I think is the most interesting about it is that not only do Brewers fans not like him for obvious reasons, Cubs fans don't really like him. Cardinals fans don't really like him. So it's funny, I was getting flooded in my mentions by Red Sox fans like saying shitty things, but I was like, look, guys, I don't even think this is a Brewers Red Sox thing. This is a Brewers Contreras thing, and this is a like his old teams don't even really like him. So yeah, whatever. It is what it is. With him in the AL, hopefully we only see these antics once a year. So,
Yeah.
but Ashby in that game got the win, so he's 3-0. Anyways, they dropped the next two. 3-2 in the second game against Crochet. Miz looked awesome for quite a while. 10 Ks. But then in that sixth inning, he just walk, 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 walk. It was pretty bad. Um, I would have liked to potentially seen him pull it a little bit earlier when you could tell he clearly just lost it. I think it was like 10 straight balls at one point, but that's part of him maturing. He's going to have to figure out how to get through 6 innings. And even after all those walks, he only threw 101 pitches. So, like, at the start of that, he's starting in the 80s. You got to be able to lock it down. So, unfortunately, those 3 runs were the difference. It was a 3-2 loss. And then on Wednesday, frankly, I didn't watch much of this game. It was a day game. I was working, but I caught little parts of it. Just Red Sox were chippy. It was another bases loaded walk, and Shane Drowan's also ex Red Sox, but um, his MLB debut. So bases loaded walk, and then in that third inning, they put in 2 more chippy runs, and then in the seventh, they added 2 more to it. So I guess I talked a lot about the pitching just to highlight the offense. Garrett Mitchell was awesome, but then Christian Yelich too has just been quietly putting together another really nice start to a season. A lot of times, even when he's had decent seasons at the end, um, he in the recent years he started slow. So it's good to see him start hot. But and Grant Anderson too, wanted to give him a shout out. Was about how an unsung hero from last year, just putting together good innings again. So the record is 8-4. If you look at the standings, the Brewers are still at the top by a half game over the Reds. And then the Cardinals, Pirates are bunched up right there with the Cubs at the bottom right now at 6-6. They just lost Cade Horton. Craig Counsell almost vomited it on television on his dip. That was kind of awesome. But
Really funny.
those are the standings. I don't know if you have anything to add before we get into our segments.
No, that I did see that there's only three as of last night, I believe. There was only three American League teams that were over 500, and I believe there's four, maybe even five now, and just in the NL Central. So kind of cool to see. Good division, underrated division. Weird to see the Reds, be good when they have like a 610 OPS as a team, but that's what pitching will get you.
Reds are good, and Pirates. I just saw on some sites are the favorite to win the Central, which I don't buy still, but they're fun. Connor Griffin had a good debut. It was cool. It was cool to see Pittsburgh rocking on a Friday afternoon. Um, they're a team that I think if they had been more of a pain in our ass recently, I definitely wouldn't like them. The same way the Cubs and Cardinals drive me nuts, but the fact that they haven't really been a threat to any of our playoff pushes, it makes me like, I gravitate towards like, Skeens and obviously
The underdog.
yeah,
Or
McCutcheon
the,
and stuff like that. The
yeah.
second the second that they win the division,
No, I'm gonna hate
that's gonna
them.
change, right? But until then,
I,
yeah.
I think in my entire lifetime, the Pirates and the Brewers have never been good at the same time. So it's easy to root for a team, that has never challenged you and is only good when you're totally out of it. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. I'm like a closeted Pirates fan. I
Well,
root for them as long as, we are just a bit better.
I won't go that far. I won't root for the Pirates, but I do gravitate towards their players and Pittsburgh seems like a good sports city. I'll put it that way. The stadium's awesome. So,
That too.
um,
I mean, I've said many times on this same podcast and on Twitter that baseball is just in a better spot when PNC is packed. There's something about it. The nightlife there. You got the bridge in the back, the skyline. It's just a gorgeous park, and I believe that the baseball is better when Pittsburgh is good at baseball. That's my take.
Pittsburgh's up 3-1 in hockey right now too. But all right. Who was your hot hitter of the week?
I while you were talking, I was going through my options again, and you mentioned already Mitchell and Yelich. Um, so I'm going to do a co. I know everybody hates when I do this. I will preface, I don't think Garrett Mitchell's success is completely sustainable, but he does lead the team in RBIs. He had 5 ribbies last week. What was that? Friday? Uh, yeah, the
Saturday, yeah.
first Saturday, first game of the doubleheader. Um, so on the day in total, he went 3 for 8 with 6 ribbies. I mean, that's a good day
How
if you
many
ask
does he
me.
have total?
13.
13. Okay. Yeah.
And then he followed it up. I don't believe he played on Sunday, but um, throughout the two games he played with Boston, he was 2 for 7 with two ribbies. The strikeouts are starting to show again. His BABIP is, I think the last I checked was like 460, which not necessarily sustainable, but if he can stay in like the 290 range, he'll be a really good baseball player. So he's batting 310, 946 OPS, which is pretty good. And I'm also going to give it to Yelich. He had a really good start to the season, kind of hit a lull against Tampa Bay in the beginning of the KC series, and then in the last on Sunday and Monday, between those 2 days, he went 5 for 9 with two ribbies, and then yesterday he went 1 for 4 with a stolen base. I also saw that he is 40th in sprint speed so far this year. That is like 120 like jump in the rankings for him over the last 4 years. Good to see. I know you mentioned it's probably just the back is fully healthy finally, which thank God it's about time. But he's striking out quite a bit too. I don't think that's sustainable. I think he's not going to strike out that much, and he hasn't been walking a ton either, which fine with me. If you're mashing and you're batting 372, why would you wait? Uh, but at some point he'll start to walk a little bit more. He's got a 948 OPS. He's almost batting 400, which is sixth in the league. It's an actual 372 average. He's got 16 hits, which is sixth in the league, and he's also ninth in runs and 28th in total bases. So pretty good. I would say that's about as good to start to the season as you could ask for a 34-year-old that's making $26 million. I mean, all the talk about him not going and playing as well as he should have for $26.5 million. I don't hear a lot of people giving him the props, and I almost forgot about him. I mean, you just expect it at this point, but it's good to see him, dominating, especially at his age.
Who is your untouchable pitcher of the week?
So I know I texted you one again, but I'm gonna go back on it. I'm gonna give it three.
That's
Which
crazy. You're
I know,
you're
which
you're
is
getting out of hand with these.
all right. Fine, I'll keep it to one. I'm gonna keep it to our boy Miz. I mean, I know he took the loss, and I know he kind of exploded there at the end and ended up with 3 earned runs and a loss. But to go 5 1/3 and strike out 10 dudes, he was locked down. You have to remember, it's not like he was up all of last year, so this will be his first full season in the bigs. This is a big step. A lot of the times there's that sophomore slump where teams figure you out, but it seems like he's figured out how to make himself better, which was honest to God. I think I said this last time. I didn't expect him to go out and dominate like he did on opening day, and he's proved me wrong time and time again. I just didn't think that you can just pump gas past people these days. But he's been locating all of his off speed. He's been locating his fastballs. Um, and up until that sixth inning, he was utterly dominant. It was such a lot of people don't like pitchers duels, but that Crochet Miz pitchers duel was phenomenal. He did strike out 10 guys, and I think he just ran out of gas. And even Murph said after, he's like, you know, hindsight 2020, yeah, we learned from this. He's got to tell me when he's tired, because how am I just supposed to take a guy out who's throwing a one hitter and he's got 10 Ks through 5 innings? So, you take it and you learn. Yeah, that probably lost us the game, but there wasn't much else to go off of. My co-guy was going to be Angel Serpa or Angel Serpa. Uh, he's just been great, as you mentioned. He got a huge save for us when Uribe and McGill had pitched 2 days in a row. So I think everybody, I said this in the chat too, it wasn't a great week for the crew, but it also wasn't a really, really bad week. You go 3-3 and everybody's just like, meh, which there's going to be a lot of those weeks throughout the season. So to go 3-3 when no one's really superstarring your way to wins, that's a sign of a good team to me.
Notable, and I probably should have mentioned it sooner just to clean up the rest of the week. Just wanted to mention Terang missed the last two games of that series. So it was an ankle or foot thing, I guess, but it sounds like he's on track to play tomorrow on Friday. So hopefully nothing to worry about.
I was going to say that he had the ankle tendonitis, and then obviously Jared Koenig going
Yeah.
on the IL with was it a elbow
Elbow,
sprain?
yeah. At first I thought maybe a little bit of a phantom situation, but unfortunately
I don't think so.
it's a true UCL sprain, I think they said. So
When you pound the fucking guys for 2 years, like pause. when when you abuse the bullpen arms, like your middle of like the middle of the game, middle reliever arms for 2 years straight, and guys don't get hurt. You're throwing 70 innings. Sometimes you're throwing three in a row. Sometimes you get 6 days of rest. I mean, it's hard to do that consistently year in and year out. Um,
Well,
I
he
just
also
I
came in.
mentioned that a couple times. I said this in the chat, but I did mention it's tough. That third year is a year that I would bet against anybody that's in the Brewers bullpen, unless you're the closer, where you figured it out and you're literally top of the top dog in the bullpen. Everybody else seems to fizzle out that third year. So hopefully this isn't the end for Koenig, but it's not looking good with a UCL sprain.
Not to mention the guy was throwing like low 90s when he got here, and then all of a sudden he's throwing upper 90s. So there's a velo jump, something they unlocked with him.
I mean, I've heard nothing but great things about like the human he is, so I hope he can figure it out and come back. But the cards are definitely stacked against him.
Just going around the farm real quick. I just saw Shuckers just tweeted Jesus Mate turns on the Jets for a triple. So good to see, and I see in the video ahead of that he's got a 333 batting average. Obviously, they started a couple games late, so it's a small sample size, but good to see Jesus Mate, I believe, is still 17, maybe 18 now. But either way,
I think he's
17.
18.
Okay. Oh, never mind. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
I know.
Now that he's
Ruins
18,
the aura.
he's still just mashing in Biloxi. Um,
Also,
maybe a real small chance that we see him at the end of this year if with an impending lockout. Maybe they want to make that happen. I don't know. Maybe not. But if he mashes in Double A, I wouldn't be surprised they try to get him to Triple A in the next couple months. So,
he
um,
will most likely be to get the tip of the iceberg on this. There's a good chance that within, a month and a half, if the top three guys that are in the bigs right now uh, have their 140 at bats, that Jesus Mate will be the number one prospect in baseball per MLB
very
pipeline
soon,
by
very soon.
mid-May, probably.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, best farm in baseball to go with a really good team, and still waiting on Churio to make his debut too. So hopefully soon. But
Did we mention the introduction of Andrew Fisher and Bishop Letson in the Baseball America Top 100?
no,
They moved in with graduations. Um, Pitcher, I believe Bishop is in Double A as well, and then Fisher's with the Timber Rattlers, who also hit a grand slam. Was that last night? So hope he is continuing his hot hitting from the WBC. But so I believe Baseball America, which is not as accredited as MLB Pipeline, but still great. I think we have 8 prospects in the top 100 now.
yeah, hopefully we see Fisher in like Double A soon. I would have thought of that at WBC of how good he hit against a lot of major league pitching that he would get the bump, but it's obviously still early for him. Um, Mike Bovey, I just saw another one of those corner infield guys that um, you know, we just seemingly have a lot of them in kind of the same spot in the minors. But the guy who was maybe forgotten about a little bit, I just saw Javik just tweeted that he's making his first professional start in left field. Um, so maybe that's something to monitor that they're trying to turn some of these guys into outfielders now they're getting close. So obviously third base in Milwaukee is still pretty much wide open despite David Hamilton's good start. And even first base, Andrew Vaughn, we caught lightning in a bottle last year. There's no guarantee it happens again when he comes back healthy. And Jake Bowers is just who he is. He's gonna get hot at flashes and hit some home runs, but frankly, he's not gonna be Prince Fielder. So um yeah, that's really all I had from around the farm. I don't know if you have anything else to add there. Otherwise, just any other final thoughts that we had going for the week. I will say the upcoming schedule. So we started with 12 American League games to start the year, 6 at home, 6 on the road, but they're heading to Washington to take on the Nationals. Or I'm sorry, the Nationals are coming to town, and then the Blue Jays will follow in that home stretch. So we'll see the AL champs. They've kind of been struggling to start the year, surprisingly. Not a lot's gone right for them. So we'll see how that goes. I know I just saw like Barger was starting cold and went on the IL. I know Savage started on the IL, although that was kind of like an intentional thing, I think, to give him a little extra rest. Um, Bo Bichette, who's on the Mets, has started really cold. They're not really missing him, I guess. But yeah, a little bit of dysfunction to start the year for the Blue Jays. Maybe a little bit of a World Series loss hangover. Um, but they got a lot of talent still. So yeah, that's the homestand. That's what we'll be looking at this next week. Yeah, I don't know if you had anything to add to any of those segments or final thoughts.
I expect a big weekend. The City Connects debut every single day this weekend. Hopefully, that brings people out. Packed houses. I know the Miz bobblehead on Saturday. Ticket prices are crazy for that game. Paid $55 to sit in section 103 in right field bleachers. Was usually like a $35 ticket. But if you're looking for tickets tomorrow, I did see very cheap out there in the bleachers. That's probably your best bet if you want to get some City Connect merch and not be, you know, packed like sardines in a row. Good week though. Jake Irvin tomorrow. I'm looking at the probables of who's going to be in the lineup. Everybody mashes against Jake Irvin. I know they put like 10 up against him when I had Jake Irvin on my fantasy team last year, so that didn't help me. But Yelich is 6 for 11 against him. William Contreras 4 for 14. Um, Frelick's 5 for 13. Even Joey Ortiz is 3 for 6. Like they've hit this guy pretty good. So looking for a win to start out the homestand tomorrow and get the swagger back.
Good stuff. Yeah, it's about all I got. So,
Beer of the week? I got a
oh,
new one.
excuse me. What's the
Ah,
beer of the week?
I've got a Sierra Nevada here. I like I really like their Celebration IPA, but I do have their Pale Ale that I saw some guy drinking at the Super Bowl party I went to. So I had to give him a shout out. Um, it's pretty damn good. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. It's delicious by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. It's from Chico, California, and Mills River, North Carolina. I'm looking for if they have like a little thing on. Oh, they're family owned and operated and argued over. I don't know what that means, but pretty cool beer. It's decent. Nothing I would ever buy again, but you know, to give it one shot, nothing wrong with that.
Good stuff. All right. Well, hey, good start to the season. I'll take 8-4 for sure, even if it was a 3-3 week. So hey, go Brewers.
Go Brewers.